Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. On the program, we're looking at the power sector in 2014 and, of course, expectations for 2015. I've been having a conversation with Dr. Sam Amadi, Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. He joins us on the program from our Abuja studio. And here in Lagos, a power engineering consultant, Engineer Adekola Adedeji, has also been sharing his thoughts with us with regards to the power sector. So let's look at what expectations will be like for 2015. Engineer Adedeji, you know, coming from where
Yeah.
with all the expectations and where we are at the moment,
Yeah.
how do you think the sector will fare this year? Don't forget that one of the issues, which was funding, has been, looked into,
Yeah.
in conjunction, the federal government, the CBN, in conjunction with the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, are looking at that. But then we have other issues at play, and so much is dependent on having power.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Like I always said, the thing is, we look at the three major segments of getting power delivered at the premises of consumers. Talk of the generation, talk of the transmission, and the distribution, infrastructure itself. Looking at generation, you cannot give what you don't have. The power has to be available from somewhere to be transported and delivered. That generation issue is very, very crucial. About 70% of generating plants are being driven by gas and oil. And we know oil is a very sensitive product because it's a worldwide, what goes on in the world affects it. Even in other economies, like you have what's going on in the US, the price of oil and what have you, that has had some effect, there is a major effect on our own currency, led to devaluation, as we have mentioned earlier on. That definitely is going to affect the entire spectrum, from generation, transmission, and distribution. How? Because the companies generating this gas, initially the attention was drawn to international market, and government had to take some punitive measures to make sure they encourage them to produce some for local consumption. Many of the plants were ready, but due to lack of gas, they were not able to power them. So that was there. Even with the encouragement from government to increase the price and make it attractive to the gas-producing companies, we are going to have a scenario where possibly government may still look for more money to pay for whatever we are getting now.
Well,
that's one aspect. Can I go on?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Then on the transmission, quite a number of projects, particularly reinforcement projects, power transformer, were really, really going on. That was quite impressive. But the thing is the ability to pay the companies putting these projects together to make sure they deliver, as scheduled. That's a major thing that government has to look into, because quite a number of them may not be able to deliver as at when due if they don't get the money, as at when due. That's another scenario. Then the third segment, which is the distribution, talking of the discos. Again, they're going to have their own challenges too. One, they need capital, like we have said. With the inflation rate, due to this devaluation of Naira, that's going to happen about 7.9 or 8% inflation in the markets. That's going to have its effect on something. So, either labor sector, either even purchase of the equipment. So, the money that the people need to execute some of these projects, provide infrastructures, they need to improve their technology. Because the reticulation itself, some of them are in a bad shape, which affects, give some losses, and then, let me say, unsteady supply to the consumers. Some of these reticulations, the technology has to be improved. If you see, some of them have nothing but cobwebs. They need to be properly done, are you with me, to ensure efficiency. Quality assurance is a major factor worldwide.
Okay, so now let's now speak
yeah.
to the regulator. Dr. Amadi, thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Quality assurance, like Engineer Dideji has just said, is very important. And now a lot of people always feel as if the regulator focuses more on protecting the investors than the consumers. So Salter Swan, who is sending in this tweet, says, who would bear the cost of misalignment between electricity tariff, consumers, government, or private companies?
The consumer is the one who bears all the costs in this value chain. Essentially, this is important. People think that we are pro-consumers, and operators say we are pro-consumers, and consumers say we are pro-operators. And that's the right place to be. We know my land as a regulator. So the operators are saying, you guys are killing us. The consumers are saying, you guys are helping them. But the fact is, like I said, the legacy has been a dilapidated network. And you can't make an omelette without breaking an egg. You have to finance the revamping of that network. You have to expand capacity, let me start with generation. We expect in the 1 year some increase. More gas is going to come. So the NIPC plant that we are releasing about 2,000, sometimes 2,000 megawatts. If we are able to, those are ready to be completed, those are ready, get gas. We expect some increase in capacity that will take us perhaps beyond the 2,000 megawatts by the year. But we don't expect much more increase because there is a time lag. We've licensed over 20,000 megawatts of power. They will take about some years to dictate. Azura Power has finished their financial transactions. It will take 3 years to 4 years to build their power plant. So what we're going to have is that in the next 3-4 years, there is greater increase in capacity. But for the next 1 year, we expect some significant but not too great increase in generation. The third thing is this: even generation, I had a new plan to create industrial clusters and mobilize Chamber of Commerce around those areas like Navy, Lagos, and Isha to see how they can together in a corporate, create some kind of cooperative. They can source sources and create embedded power and then get coupled with discos and be able to ensure that at least the major industrial sectors have 24/7 power that are embedded. That's the reason innovative I want to push this year, because we cannot go immediate solution by the conventional manner of waiting for grid power. That's true. On distribution, things will look up. Consumer service will improve drastically because like it's going to mandate that, and now we have better financial situation than we had last year. The discos have learned the lessons, they have learned the rope, they are getting sure with the change management strategies to begin to bear fruit. So we expect better improvement in service delivery.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi. Thank you so much, Dr. Amadi, for joining us on the program this morning. I'm afraid that's the much we can take, but I'm sure we're going to have you again before the half of the year to talk more about what the NERC is doing with regards to ensuring that consumers are protected as well as investors as well. But thank you so much for joining me on the program this morning. Dr. Sam Amadi is the chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Joined me on the program live from our Abuja studio, looking at the power sector in 2014. And of course, here in the studio with me in Lagos, engineer Adekola Adedeji, power engineering consultant, also shared his thoughts with us on the power sector in 2014 and expectations for 2015. But thank you also for coming on the program.
Thank you, Rita.
Well, that's the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, you know the conversation continues online. Join us again. I'm Harriet Agbeni.